Top stories for today: a ex-Bioware dev mocks the death of YouTuber TotalBiscuit, as well as the death of the co-founder of Atari. We have some Nintendo Switch hacking online with Splatoon 2, as well as a very strange badge that you can get for playing Steam games that you usually don't play. If that all sounds interesting to you, you come to the right place on this episode of News You Missed, the V-Game News Show that recaps what happened this week in the V-Game industry at large and might possibly affect you as well. I hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend, and if you guys are having a good Memorial Day, you let me know by liking and sharing this video and dropping a comment down below what you're doing. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose we should jump right into the news, and I want to start off by saying that the ex-Bioware dev that mocks the passing of YouTuber TotalBiscuit is pretty pathetic. It's pretty sad. So the reason I have to reference YongYea on this is because this guy, the one who mocked the death of TotalBiscuit, is unfortunately someone who locks down their Twitter after they say something incredibly stupid. They can't necessarily own up to what they said or did, so they just want to block out all the noise and the feedback that they get. This guy's named David Crooks, and he said quite a lot. He went on a Twitter tirade, and you can see the full video over at YongYea, but for now, all you need to know is his final statement. I'm saying this for myself, but I might as well be saying this for those who were and still could be. Fuck that guy, 9 Waste Sunday, and good riddance to bad rubbish. Now that's pretty pathetic, I gotta tell you. Even people I have a great disdain and a hatred for, people who have ruined my childhood, were awful to me in high school. If they're dead, they're dead. There's no reason to sit there and mock them on a social media platform, especially if you're not that popular anyways. For what? What do you gain? Sometimes people have to let it out, man. Sometimes people have a lot of internal hatred, a lot of darkness inside of them, and the only way they can get it out is by saying it on social media or just saying it out loud to somebody. Everyone needs someone to talk to, there's no questioning that, and this guy really seems like he was hurt badly by the actions of TotalBiscuit. TotalBiscuit isn't perfect, and this guy was alleging that TotalBiscuit had given him some negative reviews on games he had worked on, and that does happen. You get criticism on even the most perfect of games, but at the end of the day, to mock someone over their grave is pretty pathetic. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to say about this. I've said this before in my tribute video to TotalBiscuit. He wasn't a perfect man, and I don't think anyone is. I've made mistakes in my life, and hopefully when I die, people aren't going to bring up some of the stupid things I did. I mean, that's all we can ask for, right? To live a good life and be remembered for the good things and not the negative ones. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. YongYea, he's a YouTuber who does news stories as well, but instead of doing a collective like I do, he does single news stories. So if you're interested in that, check into that. Broadcasting Fortnite to an 80s Boombox TV is something else, and that is from YouTuber My Mate Vince. This guy's pretty cool. I've covered some of his videos before. He has a very unique Boombox TV combo. It's a black and white set, of course. So you're playing Fortnite on a black and white CRT TV that's built into a boombox. I don't think this is conventionally anything anyone would try to do themselves, but hey, you never know if you're a hobbyist. If you're not, you can just watch his video, which is being played here, and make sure to check into his channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. He's a cool guy, man. He does a lot of interesting hacks with old and new tech. Hacking is something that we need to transition to because it's starting to affect online Switch games, which is Splatoon 2 primarily. So, on a tweet, this individual, JD Squidiot, had said, please ban this person, and it shows a clip of a guy flying up using a very overpowered weapon in rapid succession multiple times in multiple ways, and it's very clearly a weapon that is supposed to be reserved for offline game modes like Salmon Run. So I gotta tell you, it seems like people are hacking the Nintendo Switch, and the Switch's online has not even launched yet, so this is really bad press for Nintendo. Bad press isn't necessarily something that you want, but you know, no news is bad news. Bad news is good, because this will get people talking about Nintendo online, and perhaps Nintendo will be doing something in the future to do these game modes better to where hackers won't be able to get into them as much. We have games that are going to be coming out like Super Smash Brothers that a lot of people are going to be paying online for, and you really don't want cheaters in those game modes. So hopefully before online launches, more cheaters like these will be taken care of before that game actually gets out to the public, as well as the online service being launched. The Atari co-founder, Ted Dabney, dies at 81. This guy played an integral role at founding Atari. If you guys don't know what Atari is one of the first video game consoles ever to be produced, one of the biggest flagship ones that was actually commercially successful, which is massively huge. And what ended up happening is that he actually gave the startup funds and capital to allow for the company to be incorporated, Atari Incorporated. That was $250 way back in the day. Believe it or not, that's pretty crazy. And then, at the end of it all, he sold his portion of the Atari ownership to Bushnell for $250,000. Rest in peace, Ted, man. Without you, Atari wouldn't be a thing, and maybe modern video game consoles would not be as popular in America, at least. Pretty crazy to see a guy like that die. There's a lot of deaths these days, and it's a shame, but this is a piece of video game history, and you need to know about co-founder Ted. So pay your respects when you can and where you can. Battlefield 5's female playable characters are here to stay, says developer. Let me be clear about one thing. Player choice and female playable characters are here to stay. One more. The Battlefield sandbox has always been about playing the way you want, like attempting to fit 3 players on a galloping horse with flamethrowers. With Battlefield 5, you also get the chance to play who you want. This is hashtag everyone's Battlefield. So yeah, there's quite the controversy going around about Battlefield 5's female playable characters. This is because, developers shoehorn females into historically inaccurate settings, but I have made the argument that a lot of people don't mind historical inaccuracies when it comes to the color of the street lights, or the amount of bricks in the road in the city you're marching on, or the battles themselves, the very specifics of it. And that kind of throws the argument out the window of historical accuracy. At the same time, I understand that there's plausible believability in play, meaning that certain historical inaccuracies can be overlooked in favor of the major ones being accurate. That being, there were not an excessive amount of women on the battlefield during World War II. Hence why a lot of people are very upset at this. They aren't upset at the women themselves, they are upset at developers not taking historical accuracy seriously, because they think, well, when's the next step? When are we going to have World War II with spaceships and ray guns jumping into the mix? Because why not? Why? If we're going to sit here and do this. But for me personally, this article just seems like DICE drumming up and kicking the bee's nest, the hornet's nest, trying to get a rise out of the community, because once again, as aforementioned, bad news is great for them because it gets people talking about it. And there are going to be people out there who disagree with those who think women should not be in Battlefield for various reasons, thus prompting the conversation and the game being talked about. So it's really, really a double-edged sword here when people get riled up about this stuff and want to discuss it in depth. It just gets people talking about Battlefield 5 and drums up the sales. That's how I feel. You could feel differently. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, Nintendo Switch eShop update is really adding a lot more games to the mix. There's 2 notable games I wanted to hit on. Harvest Moon Light of Hope Special Edition, available May 29th, as well as Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, available May 29th. There's quite a few other games as well, most of them being indie. There's also Icaraga, which is a pretty unique and interesting game as well, but as far as the rest of them go, I'm not too interested. You might be interested, and if you need to flesh out your Nintendo Switch collection, there you go. So finally, the last story is very, very strange. It's odd. Basically, there's going to be a special event where you're going to be doing some spring cleaning to your Steam library. So if you play games that you normally do not play, you have the chance to earn a badge and level up that badge as well by doing so. But it states in this article that Valve might pick a random unplayed game in your library, so you can't select which game you want to play. Personally, I'm not sure how it's going to work, but that's what's said in this article, so you have to check into it yourself. Basically, you'll get a badge for playing an unplayed game, and there's also going to be games that you get trial versions of that you can choose to buy or not. Absolutely free. You can play them for free until a certain time, and there you go. So I guess you can earn a badge for playing games that you normally don't. Maybe some games that you bought on a sale or something. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's this episode of News You Missed. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave me a big thumbs up. And I'm on the road to 1 million subscribers, so click that subscribe button if you're into news every week about video games. I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, God bless, and I'll take it over to the end card slate where you can find out about a few more videos you might want to watch.